So third parties are in a little bit of a quandary. Corporate media is in shock of what they're doing, and now third parties and independents are struggling. That's right, they are going to be struggling because Dr. Jill Stein is being sued by the Democrats in Nevada. Now, I have had my criticism of the third party candidates, but the actions of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party should not surprise any of you. Now, I am against what the Democratic Party and Republican Party is doing, not only at the federal level, but at the various state levels by preventing third parties from being on the debate stage by being on the ballot. Now, in many ways, I do wish that the Greens were way more organized. You had a chance in 2016. I don't know if you'll ever get that opportunity again. But Democrats are now suing the Green Party in Nevada. The party that's saving democracy wants to kick them off the ballot. So let's go ahead and pull up this video here. It's of Jill Stein talking about this recent situation. So let's go ahead and play this video.
The anti-Democratic Party has just gone on the attack. The Green Party in Nevada and volunteers in Nevada collected 30,000 signatures. Incredible. 30,000 signatures in Nevada, 3 times the number of signatures that's actually required in the state. After we submitted them, and the state then approved our campaign to have a ballot line in Nevada, within 24 hours, there goes the anti-Democratic Party filing an injunction in court to stop our placement on the ballot. So we're going to go to court. We're going to fight this in court because it's outrageous. This is how, full of integrity, inspiration, and democratic values the Democratic Party is. This is what they've been doing, actually, for decades. They did this in Matt Ho's campaign for Senate, where they impersonated the Green Party and made phone calls to persuade people to take their names off of the ballot petition. This is how
that has happened before. We talked about this on the show, and it's not only Nevada, but it's in a lot of states where the Democratic Party would pretend to be the Green Party, or even some cases, the Libertarian Party, give or take. But yeah, they would say, no, you got to get our names off the ballot. Very democratic of you, Democratic Party.
How they roll, they are quaking in their boots. They know that their days of controlling the political process are basically over. We, the people, will not continue to be thrown under the bus by the dirty tricks, corrupt Democratic Party. If you can go to JillStein2024.com and please make a contribution so that we can fight back together and stop the Democrats. Join this fight. Let's push back, ensure that we're on the ballot in Nevada, ensure that we're on the ballot in New York, ensure that we're on the ballot in Illinois and Indiana and many other states. So let's keep it going strong. You're doing amazing.
Now, the thing is, the Greens still got to get, still going to have to get ballot access. Then in New York State, it didn't go well for them. And Illinois is just draconian.
Amazing work. This is totally awesome. Let's make it happen. And let's keep fighting.
So I'm going to pull up this video here from Case Study QB, where corporate media is discussing, will America ever have a viable third-party option? Well, how can I have a viable third-party option when corporate media smears and slanders them? And then, of course, wait, Democrats and Republicans at the state level and federal level prohibit third parties from being on the debate stage and being on the ballot.
So we have less than 150 days until the election. Wow. And for months now, we've all known that President Biden and former President Trump will be the nominees for their parties as they run for president. But is this really what the American people want? In the last 2 decades, Americans have been leaving both the Democrat and Republican parties. In fact, more Americans identify as independent than members of either major party. And in this election, people known as double haters who dislike both Biden and Trump could end up deciding who wins. But here's the big question. Will America ever have a viable third party that can win in a major election? So DBL Nation, we always want to hear from you. Would you vote for a third party? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in.
I'm going to be voting third party. Simple as that. That's what I'm going to do. Daily Blast, though. That's a horrible name. All right. And I want all of you to get your minds out of the gutter, but hey, time for your Daily Blast. Up the wazoo, or a nice little cream pie surprise, or a mouth shot. Who knows? Daily Blast. By the way, I paused horrifyingly at the wrong point for this video. Daily Blast is a horrible name. That is a god-awful name. Why would you name your network that or show that, the Daily Blast? That is not good. The internet is unforgivable. The internet never forgets, and that is a very stupid name, and I think I've contributed to the continuous cesspool that is the internet. But look, folks, this is why you tune in to Hard Lens Media. See, now my show's got a good name. Daily Blast. Unless you want to blast off, okay.
I think of you, Jeff. You're a true independent. You're not happy with either candidate. So what do you think?
I'm a true double hater. Yeah.
You were like one of the first double haters.
Yeah. I'm a pioneer of double hating.
Yeah, a lot of hate.
I definitely don't have a home politically. I see things on both sides. I would vote for an independent, most definitely. I just don't get the electoral college. You know, my vote doesn't count in Colorado. It's a blue state. No matter what I vote for, it's going to be blue.
Lately.
Yes, lately. As of right now, there's only a couple states that decide that whole election. But I forgot what I was going to say. So yeah, I had another point. It's Monday. Yeah,
I blurted out lately.
Yeah. And I totally forgot what I was going to say.
I think what you're talking about is what a lot of people feel, and it's that they don't feel like their vote counts. When people voted for Bernie, when Hillary eventually got the nomination, Bernie was very popular, and they kind of took that from him in the DNC via superdelegate. No one knows that it is. It sounds like a made-up rule to get the person you went in there. So you're dissuading all those voters. So now we have this weird thing where the independents know they're going to hear it because they're going to say, well, Erica, you threw your vote away, and now this person's in. Mm-hmm. So that dissuades you from voting. And if you don't throw your vote away and you vote for somebody you kind of don't like, then you feel kind of gross about it. So I think a lot of Americans want a candidate that they can get behind, and it's impossible with these two candidates. And the double hater Jeff has showed us that there's a lot of people that think like you. Like, I'm unimpressed with all these humans.
Will it ever change? Well, let me just read a quote.
So I like how these pundits are just like, will it ever change? Will things ever stop? Well, the thing is, people want something different. The answer is simple. See, put me on one of these power panels, and I'll educate these bastards. You know what? Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to give a shout out to a good friend of the show, Larry Sharp, okay? Him and I have our differences of opinion in regards to politics and points of view, but he supports third parties and independents, as do I. And, put us on this panel. We'll give a full-on education to these fools. Because the thing is, what is preventing Americans from being aware that there are third parties is corporate media is owned by the donors, the same donors who control the two-party system, Democrats and Republicans, and they don't want anything to upset that apple cart. They don't want Americans to look at different choices because they have successfully, for generations now, convinced Americans that Team Red and Team Blue is the way to go. Corporate media tells the truth, and then no one questions anything. You shut up, you collect your paycheck, and you continue to waste your life in a neoliberal system. Doesn't that sound great? But, oh, wait, other democracies, other republics have third parties and independents. Other democracies give their voters, their people, more choices. Now, to be clear here, our system is corrupt to the core. And I want to quote Jesse Ventura on this one, where, look, even he started to break away from a little bit of having a third or fourth party because instead of a two-headed monster, you have a four-headed monster. We got to get money out of politics and abolish all political parties through citizen ballot initiatives. But they're acting shocked. Well, why is this happening? What's going on here? This is how the system is designed. And just as a side note as well, third parties, independents have their ideas stolen by the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, respectively, because they want to, again, get those voters to become diehard Team Red or Team Blue voters. That's it. There's no big mystery here. But what I find interesting about this election cycle, and yes, this election cycle is not the most important, it's the most interesting, is that you're seeing the rise of third parties. My criticism, though, is that third parties could have done a hell of a lot more with the time given to them before 2024, but opportunities lost. Maybe someday we'll see something, but third parties and independents leave much to be desired for this election cycle, but they should have done so much more.
And ask you guys all to think about this. This is a quote I always think of. It says, voting isn't a marriage. It's public transport. You're not waiting for the one, right? Who's absolutely perfect. You're getting the bus. And if there isn't one to your destination, you don't not travel. You take the one going closest there.
But that sounds like a real left point of view. Like,
you
just
do?
pick the, yeah,
even if you're very anti-abortion or you want government.
No, and I agree with right. That's telling you pick the lesser of two evils.
Right, on either side.
But I believe that's a left.
But I don't see it.
I don't think it has to
your
I want to hear from Erica really quickly. What are you thinking? Number one, do you think that and then number two, do you think that we're ever going to see this independent party take over and have a third party officially?
I think that the catalyst is set up to do so. It's just that we are so, like, when you talk about being double haters, for a lot of people that means they're just apathetic. So as opposed to, casting their vote for whoever the independent might be closest to their ideology, they just simply won't vote. When we talk about double haters between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, look how that turned out for the entire election. So I just want people to think about their political ideology. Like, I think a lot of people fall in the same category as Jeff. In this country, we have vanilla and chocolate.
Ugh. Two bland flavors. Now give me more. Maybe mix it up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with mixing up some flavors or some colors. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Why not? People want to have some fun before the whole world ends.
There's a squirrel somewhere in there, and I feel like a lot of
Why would you mention a squirrel? Why would you do that?
people are feeling very swirly. You can't get
I thought she said squirrel. Instead, she said swirl. Okay, she wants to swirl. Okay. Daily Blast. Don't you ever change that name. She wants that swirl, baby.
swirl without the Electoral College being absolutely.
I know. So do you think that'll change?
But I think that political ideology is changing. This next generation has been very vocal about it. What happened with Bernie Sanders?
It's a swirl, not a squirrel. I thought she said squirrel. I'm sorry. I screwed up. Hashtag unsubscribe to Heartlands Media. Now my audience is putting squirrel emojis in the chat. All right, enough with the squirrels and the nuts. Marvin Vargas says squirrel lives matter. You know what? Hey, everybody, chill. Chill with it. She said swirl, not squirrel.
I mean, the catalyst to a lot of conversations. No one expected for Bernie Sanders supporters to galvanize the way that they did. And it scared the hell out of both parties.
I was one of them.
So I think that that's the conversations, and those are the movements that we should be anticipating for future politics.
All right, good conversation. Let's see what our viewers say. 69% of you would vote for a third party. 31% of you would not. That tells us a lot. All right, coming up.
That's what you call a good daily blast, right? So what can we take away from this? Well, first of all, what's happening to Jill Stein and her campaign is wrong and it's unjust. But hey, here's my criticism. Green Party, why are you acting shocked? Or either that, you should at least be building up your resources necessary to be ready for any kind of attack. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be aggressive or problematic. It's just, I remember 2016, the aftermath of that election. I remember covering Green Party events in Illinois and Indiana. And as time went on, as the years went on, the events and venues were getting smaller and smaller and smaller to where no one was showing up. And I do have to wonder, again, why'd you drop the ball? You should know that this was going to happen. You should know the Democratic Party was going to do everything they can to make sure you don't get on the New York State ballot, and they would probably more likely try and sue you in Nevada or anywhere else. This is what, again, the two-party system does. It is going to do everything in its power to prevent third parties from being on the ballot, from being on the debate stage. I've interviewed libertarians and Greens, independents and socialists on the show since we started it in 2017. 7 years. 7 years of doing this show. 7 years. 7 years. And it is very clear that there's a whole system in place to prevent you, the viewers, from seeing or either that being aware of third-party candidates. It doesn't have to be this way. It shouldn't be this way, but yet here we are. And I do have to call into question all of these quote-unquote pundits. Why are you acting so shocked? Shocked that Americans want something else? Because Americans are tired of the same two-party dusty system, Democrats and Republicans. They offer nothing. But the real thing that we have to do is focus on citizen ballot initiatives and getting money out of politics, breaking away from the two-party system, and more importantly, taking back our republic so that we, the people, have a say. Because we can walk around these politicians. They need us more. We don't need them. And when the people lead, that's when the leaders follow. So I do encourage the Greens to do everything they can to stand up against the Democrats in Nevada. But it's almost too little too late. I wish that the Greens, independents, libertarians, all of them were more on point, had a more solid foundation. Perhaps someday I'll witness that. This election cycle, there's been a lot of coverage of third parties, and there's more Americans open to the idea of third parties and independents, but there's a lot more that they could have done. But in comparison to previous other election cycles, this is a sight to see. So we'll see what happens in November. We'll see if any third parties or independents are successful in getting any kind of electoral college vote, or either that getting enough to be recognized as a legitimate party here in the United States. We'll see. The key thing is voter turnout and voter enthusiasm. And that's something every single presidential candidate and every single political party for this election cycle is going to need, because a lot of Americans are just burnt out.